Well, hello there all the absolutely magnificent people, and welcome back to another episode of An Ecologist Plays. We talk about nature while playing games. My name is Will, I'm an ecologist by training, as you may have guessed, and we are back in Windrose in our nautical adventure. So I suppose I should have said ahoy there, mateys, and welcome to our little bit of a nautical adventure. Now, I'm just going to quickly collect some coconuts over here, because we do need some of that for our travels. Well, coconuts really are awesome. Now, the name is actually a misnomer because technically they aren't nuts at all. Nuts are a dry fruit that has a hard shell around them, whereas coconuts are actually what we call a drupe. So it has got a bit of a more fleshy part around it. We can't see it in the picture there. What we see there is the harder shell, and then inside we've got that soft coconut flesh. But on the outside we would have a softer fleshy part, and that of course we remove to get to the actual coconut that we can then eat, and it makes the fruit much larger than it appears over here in this tree. So the way we see it in the tree here, that's not really how it may appear, depending of course on the species, but the coconuts we typically eat would have a much more fleshy part all around it. Not edible fleshy part though, but other drupes that we eat would be things like peaches. So it's weird to think that a coconut here, the type of fruit it actually is more like a peach than it is a nut. So technically we should be calling them cocoa drupes, but oh well. Now on the agenda today, we are going to head on over to the mine, which is right over there. We're going to go mine some copper, and we're also just going to clear that ancient ruin over there, and then I guess go quickly pop over to that traveler's camp there. And I think by that time we should be ready to go look for another island, and that is hopefully to actually get our first little ship, which is the Ketch. Now along the way here, of course, we'll be talking about whatever we do find on our travels, and I really would like to talk about why dodos were so big, so we'll chat about that in a moment. For now though, we're just going to make some food here. And you know what, we're going to go for some bacon and eggs here, because that is going to give us quite a bit more health. You know what, we're just going to quickly eat something here, and then we're going to take out these sows again. Remember, I'm taking out all the boars I possibly can, because they are really an invasive and a problematic species. So we have to take them out to try and give the dodos and other animals a fighting chance. So for conservation, we are getting rid of them, and there we go. There is a dodo right over there. There's an azure dodo further in the forest over there, in the jungle right over there. We're going to try and not antagonize it. I don't want it attacking us and then, getting killed in the process. Now, let's head on out to where the mine is, and let's just give these azure dodos a bit of a wide berth. Right, now here we are in the first cave, and as you can see, again, my game here is surprisingly light. And this allows us to actually continue mining without using our lamp. We can save the lamp for when it is dark out, it's like middle of the night. Now I do know that you can use your heavy attack here to also mine, and this works quite well, but for me it seems to work best if you have a copper pickaxe or iron pickaxe. With a stone pickaxe here, I rather just mine the normal old way with normal old attacks. Okay, our inventory is almost full, which means it's almost time for us to actually head home with our mining spoils here. Yeah, basically time to head home. That's as much as we can carry. Eventually I will place down some storage chests in the mine there. And then when I mine, I can just deposit a whole bunch of copper and stone over there. Oh, look at that, we've got a boar over here as well. Of course, we have to take him out. Really a big boy, this. I have been chased by bush pigs many times in the past, including by big boars like this one. It's really a surprising and intimidating sight to come across a wild pig. Ooh, look. Ah, you got me there, you naughty. But I got you more. I was backed up against a tree there. But anyway, so coming across a boar like that, oh, it gives you such a fright. Now, I haven't been chased by a wild boar, just by bush pigs, which we have here in South Africa. Particularly here in the southern part of South Africa, in the forests around here, we tend to have bush pigs, and yeah, they can get quite big, and I've been chased on them while walking, I've been chased by them while cycling, I've been chased by them while looking for rare and endangered frogs. Yeah, it's a fun times indeed. One year I was chased 8 times by them, so yeah. Anyway, there we go, we've got quite a lot of copper ore here. We're just going to quickly deposit most of it in there, And I see we have the Dr. Galen over here. And well, according to them, we should be able to escape from this place if we get a nice big boat. And so for that, we'll need to go over to a second island, look for some shipwrecks, and then hopefully find a ship that can float. And then, of course, rescue some captives, some of our old crewmates. And hopefully then we'll be able to set sail. Now, I have gotten the quest to smelt some copper ingots. So you know what? We are going to place down... Let me think. I think I shall place down under this little awning over here. This is where I shall place down my smelters. Alright, now as you can see there, we do need clay, and lucky for us, there's some clay right over here. Now, previously, it was actually within the boundary of a bonfire, which prevented it from actually spawning, so I had to move the bonfire off screen. And, well, now we can actually get some clay right over here. And this should respawn every few hours, which means that we now have an infinite source of clay right next to our base. Now, clay really is cool. It's a very, very fine sediment, and it holds onto nutrients very, very well, and also holds onto water very well. So if you are in an area that's clay rich, well, the drainage may not be good, but it does mean that your plants will have access to quite a bit of nutrients, because, well, as I've mentioned, clay holds onto nutrients very, very well, far better than sand would. Now, since it's just me playing, I'm not going to go all out in terms of smelting. One charcoal kiln and one smelting furnace should be more than enough. But oh, look at that, they can't be placed under a roof. Ah, so let's see, are these two now? Indeed, they are now fine. We can use them. They are away from under the roof here. Now, yeah, I'm trying to play in as ecologically friendly manner as possible. And, well, these blocks over here are not serving any purpose anymore. So I'm just removing them, allowing animals and technically plants as well to just spread along here. In theory, at least. Now, of course, in order to make charcoal, we need to burn wood. And I'm going to try and be, as I've mentioned, as eco-friendly as possible. Now, I don't want to overuse the trees here. So let's just burn 20 logs. Just so we get 20 charcoal here, and then once we have that, we can actually start smelting our copper ore into copper ingots. Now, before I forget, while just harvesting some resources in order to actually continue building this little base of ours here, I have gotten some seeds, and I can place down a ficus sapling, and I think I will place down this sapling right over here, and I can also place down 2 shrubs, and I'll place down those seedlings right over there, just so we can get a few more plants growing around our base here. I think when this ficus is grown, it should look quite nice, kind of start obscuring our actual house over here. You know what, I could actually put in a window, I think, in this general area over here, and there we go, kind of gives it a bit of a face. Okay, so there we go, we have got charcoal and ash, and we can start making some copper ingots here. Okay, so I should be able to make myself a torn sailcloth bag. I just need 2 fabrics and 1 rope. That should be easy enough. And there we go. We have a bit more space in our inventory now. Now, while we're waiting for the copper ingots, let's head on over just to the ruins over here. And then maybe that traveler's camp right over there as well. I see all the clay has actually been marked on our map now, so that's quite easy to now get to. But as we are making our way over to the ruins we need to explore, let's quickly chat about why dodos were this big. Because as mentioned in the previous episode, that yeah, they were very big. They were around 1 meter in height, and that's, you know, that's big. Big pigeons in essence. So why were they so big? The thing is that one must remember that they were only found on islands. And we have on islands, we've got something known as Foster's rule, which is when you've got insular gigantism or insular dwarfism, meaning that on islands, organism groups that are usually smaller on the mainland tend to be bigger on islands, but organism groups that are generally or usually larger on the mainland tend to be smaller on islands. So on Crete, for example, there were mammoths that were much smaller than their relatives on the mainland. And that's because, well, for things like elephants, oh hello, for elephants there may not be enough food to actually keep them alive. And so, over time, descendants became much smaller than similar species on the mainland. But if you are a small species, like for example a pigeon, right? You are small, usually on the mainland areas, because it allows you to hide from predators. Think rodents, for example, as well. They tend to be small on the mainland because, well, they need to be able to hide from predators. And being small allows them to get into small little cracks and small spaces where the predators can't get to them. But on islands, there are fewer predators, usually at least, and so they can be bigger, and that results in insular gigantism, organism groups becoming much bigger on islands than they are on the mainland. And so that's what happened to the dodo. Their ancestors got onto the island of Mauritius as a flying pigeon, and then when they got to the island of Mauritius, there were very few predators, if any really, for them. And so that led to one of the things that they became, which is flightless, but we'll talk about that a different time. But they also, because they had very few predators, if any, they became much bigger than they were on the mainland, because there was no reason for them to hide. There we go, we got the attention of that boar. That was what I was hoping for, just so we can try and get him outside here without the two sows that are there. So just grabbing his attention here, and there we go. We're doing quite well in eradicating the piggies from the island here. We're just going to grab everything we can from the old vases, dig our way through to this vase over here, and dig out this vase over here. And that is another point of interest done. Now what we have obtained here are clay vases and bone beads, which we can sell to smugglers for silver. We also got the leaf roofs and triangular walls, which is nice to build houses that are not just little cubes. And we can also make the simple bed with a headboard, which I think will give our base a higher comfort value, which is also very, very nice. And there we go, we can grab our first copper ingots and we can smelt 14 more. And with the copper ingots, we can make a whole bunch of stuff. Of course, we can make better axes, better pickaxes. We can make the shovel. Oh, that's going to be useful in a moment. We can also make a saber. And then we have got access to the weaponsmith workshop, the cutting table, and the sewing rack as well. Marvelous. Absolutely marvelous. And now we do need to craft a melee weapon. Now we will first need to make the weaponsmith workshop, which we can make. That is not a problem. We can build that right over here. But in order to make the saber, we need quite a few more copper ingots. So that is going to take a bit of time. In the meantime, what we can actually make would be the shovel. So let's do that, and let's head on over to where we're going to use it, which is right over there by the travelers camp. So that's directly south of us. Again, on the way, any boars we encounter we are going to eradicate. We're doing it for conservation. Now, previously I mentioned that boars were one of the main things that resulted in the dodo's extinction rather than just hunting by people. The other thing was the crab-eating macaque, a monkey that was introduced to the island of Mauritius as well. And despite their name being crab-eating macaque, well, they don't just eat crabs, they eat a variety of things. And baby dodos and dodo eggs, well, those would have been lovely snacks for it. Okay, we need to be on this island right over here. We're just going to swim through this area. Technically, you really wouldn't want to swim through this little section over here because we've got a lot of water on that side, a lot of water on that side, and a very narrow passage over here. And it's quite possible that if there are strong currents pushing water through from that area, it's going to be forced through this narrow gap over here and actually sweep you out over to that side over there. That's one of the things, for example, with estuaries of rivers, that if you don't know and you just go for a little swim in a narrow section like this, you think, oh, it's fine, I can reach the other side quite easily. Well, if this is a big river flowing through a narrow opening like this, all that water that is flowing out is forced through a narrow gap like this, and it will sweep you out into the ocean and you may drown. And every year, many people drown here in South Africa as well, in the southern part of South Africa. We've got a few estuaries like that. Yeah, quite a few people drown every year because of that. There we go, we just grabbed that chest there, and now what we're looking for is a tree with a rag hanging from it. But I am seeing a boar, and he is actually guarding that little rag over there. So I'm just going to shoot him in the head with a pearl, because that's the only ammo I have got. Just going to shoot him once more. It's quite possible I may die here, but you know what, that's fine. And there we go. I figured. Well, that's the first death, isn't it? Oh, look at that. I am still over here with my respawn point. I never changed the respawn point to my new base. So now what we're doing is we are heading out to where we dropped our stuff, our post-mortem cache. And there we go. That's the little island we were just on. Luckily, the starter island isn't massive. It's easy to get from point A to point B. We're just going to pick up some driftwood as well while we are at it. Rather than just chopping out trees on the island, we may as well pick up some driftwood. But you know what happened there? I got cocky. I thought I was going to get that piggy on the last swing of my little broken blade, and unfortunately it just didn't cut it. So yeah, we definitely need a better blade, a better weapon. So we're just going to grab our post-mortem cache here. Oh, that piggy should be around here somewhere still. There we go, and it has not regenerated any health. So now we should be able to get it with that first and only swing. I'm just going to pick up some of the cayenne peppers here as well and mark it on the map so I can easily come back and collect cayenne from this spot. I'm again not taking all of them because I'm trying to play ecologically. So the reason I'm not taking all of the cayenne peppers here is because, well, those peppers over there would be a good source of food for some of the parrots and other birds in the area, and I don't want to deprive them of their food, so I'm not going to harvest all of the peppers. I've also left in that part of the island, there are some cayenne over there as well. I tend to always leave some as well. Also, technically you would be leaving them so they can self-seed, and that means that you don't have to replant them, they just regrow automatically. Anyway, what we are here for is we are digging for treasure. So we're going to be using our spade just to dig around and see where this treasure is buried. It will always be around this dead tree with a red rag hanging in it, and I think it is right over here. There we go, there is a decrepit chest. Ah, we got some gunpowder there, which is nice. We don't have a lot of that yet. And some healing potions, also very, very nice. And very importantly, we also got some experience from that. Anyway, so we just collected some more coconuts there. Our coconuts really are perfectly adapted for life on islands and in tropical areas as well. If you look at them, first of all, notice the leaves. The leaves are, of course, compound, as we call them. Not a simple leaf, it's divided, it's split into little leaflets, and that allows strong winds to just kind of move through the leaf without damaging it or without breaking it off. So that's very important, especially if you are in areas with strong winds, like the tropics, where we currently are. Additionally, the coconut itself, the cocoa drupe as I called them earlier, that's a great way of dispersing the seeds. Oh, I'm running the wrong way, our house is actually that way. The coconuts will float, and it allows them that if they drop onto the beach over here and it's high tide and the water comes up to this point over here, there's a chance that some of those coconuts will actually be washed out into the ocean, and they will then be carried by the ocean currents, allowing the seed to potentially wash up on a distant shore, allowing the coconut to disperse far away from where it grew. And that's very, very nice. And then the coconut will slowly but surely germinate and start growing, and eventually will grow into this amazing palm tree here. And palms themselves are also very well adapted for life in the tropics and in areas with strong storms, because unlike most of the trees, like the ficus trees we have growing in the forest there, palms don't have this typical wood. Instead, their stems are made up of a whole bunch of fibers, very good at being flexible. So being very, very flexible allows them to bend rather than snap. Alright, so there we go. We can actually make our first saber over here. Very, very, very basic weapon. And now we do need to upgrade it, which shouldn't be too difficult. Oh, wait, we do need more copper ingots. Of course we do. Now we've got enough to actually upgrade it once, but something tells me we need to upgrade it more than just once. Maybe not. That seems to have been sufficient. And now the lovely thing is we did level up here, so we're just going to increase our vitality here, because, well, we definitely do need that, and we're going to increase our agility and our endurance. Our agility here will help us do more damage with our sabers, whereas endurance gives us more stamina, and vitality, of course, gives us a bit more health. So let's just grab that there. Alright, now I'm just waiting for some copper ingots here to be produced, and while we're waiting for that, I may as well go over to 15 men on a dead man's chest. And if we do that quest there, it means we have completed everything we can do on this island. Right, this does not look ominous at all. Skeleton, some more skellies over there. Let's just dig in the middle here, and there we go, there is a chest. Let's open it, shall we? Oh, hello there. Of course, they are drowned all over the place. So again, just taking it slow and steady. Some of them are throwing stuff at me. 1 down, 3 to go. And one is running towards me. Well, can you look at that? Can you believe it? Capable of quite sudden bursts of speed. And surprisingly accurate throwing. Are you naughty? Okay, 1 left. 1 more round. And he's gone. Just going to record the cayenne peppers again here on the map. Always nice to know where the cayenne is so that you can come and collect when you need them. And now that we have finished off the round, let's have a look. Finally, we completed that. Should probably bandage myself up here. There we go. And we got some guinea over there, some gold coins, and some silver ingots that we can use later on to level up our rings, or to ascend our rings that we get. Alright, and we should now have enough copper ingots indeed to craft a fast travel bell. And then let's have a look. Yes, we do have an island right over there that I would love to go to. However, that's not the island we need to go to get our boat. That will be to the west. So we're going to sail to the west. And unfortunately for us, the only boat we have available to us at the moment is the dinghy, which is this little one right over here. So I guess that's what we're going to use. It really is just peaceful, just drifting around on a little boat over here, making our way to the island so we can actually get our proper boat. Of course, that will take a while to get, so I am going to place down a fast travel point, hence the fast travel bell that I had to make. Ah, this is just marvelous. I'll never forget the first time sailing from one island to the other with the teeny tiny little dinghy that we have over here. And just keeping an eye out, I don't see any dangerous ships around, which is great news, because, well, I'm used to them shooting at me as I'm making my way across to the second island. Well, now, this does look like it's going to be quite a big island to explore, so we'll definitely have to do that next time. But for now, thank you very much everyone for joining me on our little nautical adventure here. Hope you had fun. I had an absolute blast. And also a special shout out to our channel members and to everyone supporting the channel. You guys are absolute legends. Of course, channel members get early access to each and every video, so if you'd like to support the channel in that way, check out channel memberships as well. Of course, if you have any questions, please pop them down in the comments below, and also tell me what you'd like to see me try and do next. Until next time everybody, stay safe. I'll see you all soon. Cheers!